Hi everyone and welcome to Felt Sense. Today I would like to talk to you about something that I believe is holding back more careers than bad managers, broken promotion processes, or office politics combined. And it's something that lives entirely inside the person it is hurting. I keep seeing the same pattern. Someone consistently does good work, they deliver, they get good feedback, they watch people around them move up, some of whom are not working harder or doing better, and yet every promotion cycle comes and goes without anything changing for them. When you ask them why, they say something like, I'm not sure I'm ready yet, or I do not want to put myself forward too early, or or they say nothing at all because they have not been able to have a conversation with their manager yet. In most cases, the problem is not external. It's not broken process or difficult manager or bad timing. The problem is a well-researched psychological pattern that shows up most often among people who care most about doing good work. And the science on what it does to career is something everyone should know. Everybody knows the name. It's called the imposter phenomenon, or imposter syndrome as it's presented in a lot of media. What it is. The term was coined in 1978 by two psychologists, Pauline Clance and Susan Imes, who were studying high-achieving women, people with strong track records, degrees, real recognition from others, and kept noticing something that did not make sense. Despite every sign of success, these women believed that they were frauds, that they had that they had somehow fooled everyone around them, and it was a matter of time before someone found out. Clance and Imes did not call it a syndrome on purpose because they didn't want it to turn into a diagnosis. This was not a disorder, but but a thinking pattern triggered specifically by doing well that stopped people from believing in their own ability. And that was in 1978. And the research has grown a lot since then. In 2029, a review in Journal of General Internal Medicine examined 62 studies on the topic, and the 2025 meta-analysis in BMC Psychology synthesized data from 30 studies and more than 11,000 working professionals, landing on a fatigue worth pausing over. Here it goes. 62% of professionals experience the imposter phenomenon. More than half the people you work with carry some version of this belief that they're not as good as everyone around them thinks. And it is not just women's issue or a new employee issue. Researchers have found that imposter syndrome among managers too, meaning the people making promotion decisions often feel this way themselves. And the cycle that keeps it going. To understand why this hurt careers, you need to understand how it works. Something important comes up, a big project, a presentation, a new responsibility, and straight away anxiety kicks in. What if I cannot do this? What if this is the moment when people find out that I'm a fraud? To deal with anxiety, you do one of two things. You either over-prepare, putting twice as many hours as anyone else, and going over every detail of that presentation again and again, or you avoid it until the last minute and then rush to finish. Either way, you do well. But instead of thinking, I did that because I'm good at this, you explain it away. If you over-prepared, of course it went well. Yeah, I worked twice as hard as I needed to. If you left it late and pulled it off, you just got lucky. It was easier than I expected. So your ability is never the reason. It's always luck, effort, or the task not being too hard. So the next thing comes along and the anxiety starts again and the whole process repeats. So you can go through this for 10 years, build a real track record of results, and still feel like you are one bad meeting away from being found out, because in this pattern, doing well never actually counts as a proof that you are capable. The fourth way it stops careers. Researchers have found at least four clear ways that imposter syndrome or imposter feeling stops people from moving up, and none of them are obvious from the outside. Each one looks to a manager like something completely different. So you stop going for it. The most direct evidence comes from a study by Neureiter and Trott-Mattausch, published in Frontiers of Psychology in 2026. They surveyed 220 students and 110 working professionals and tracked how imposter feelings related to their career outcomes. The results were clear. Imposter feelings significantly reduced how people plan their careers and how hard they push for advancement. And most importantly, how much they wanted to move into leadership. People with strong imposter feelings did not just feel bad, they stopped trying to move up. They did not apply for roles that they were ready for. They did not tell their managers they were interested, and they did not raise their hand for the projects that would get them noticed. From the outside, it looks like someone who is happy where they are or does not want more responsibility. A manager reads it as no ambition. What actually happens is that this person is avoiding any situations where they might be seen as overreaching, and in most workplaces, that means staying still. Another reason is that work gets unnoticed. So getting promoted requires someone above you to know that you have done what you have done and believe that you're ready for more. That sounds simple, but the imposter phenomenon gets in the way of it gets in the way of it in a very specific way. If you believe your results came back from luck, taking credit for them feels wrong. So you do not take credit. You assume the work will speak for itself. And research is clear that the work does not speak for itself. A Harvard and NBER study by Exley and Kessler, published in Quarterly Journal of Economics, gave people the same test score and asked them to rate how well they had done. So men rated themselves 61 out of 100, women at 46. The same result, 15-point difference in how they describe themselves. And that gap in how people present their own performance is one of the main reasons some people get promoted and others do not. So when you consistently undersell what you have done, the people deciding on promotions are not working with accurate information. They're seeing the version of you that sold out, and that shapes their decision. Next point, you avoid conversations that would help. In 2023, study found that people with imposter feeling do seek feedback, but they do it indirectly by watching how others react, reading the moods in the room, guessing rather than asking directly, because a direct question feels too risky. And if the honest answer might confirm what they fear, that they're frauds. So they do not ask for bigger projects. They do not sit down with their managers and say, I want to get to the next level. What do I do next? Research have found that imposter feelings are linked to lower salaries and fewer promotions, specifically because people stop actively managing their careers. The painful part is the conversations that would actually help, the feedback, the honest check-ins, the clear statement of what they want, are exactly the ones that feel too scary to have. And the last point, you wear yourself out before you get there. In 2024 review in the Journal of Organizational Behavior, the researchers looked at 188 studies published between 1978 and 2023 and found strong evidence that imposter feelings reliably led to burnout, exhaustion, and lower job satisfaction. The reason ties back to the cycle. When you over-prepare every time because you do not trust your own ability, you're working at much higher cost than necessary, and you cannot even feel good about the results. A 2025 study found that people with imposter feelings tend to work too much, not because they enjoy it, but because that's the only way they feel safe. People who are burned out are not thinking about their next promotion. They're trying to make it through the week. They're trying to survive. Now let's talk about the part that nobody sees. What makes this pattern so hard to spot is that it does not look like a problem from the outside. The imposter phenomenon does not show up in people who do not care or do not try. It shows up in people with high standards, real ability, and a genuine drive to do good work, which is exactly what Clance and Imes found in 1978, and what research has continued to confirm since. The, the things it produces: careful preparation, not overstating what you did, being thoughtful before speaking, looks like good qualities. So your manager likely sees them as your strengths, and your colleagues probably respect them. Nobody around you see that these things come from fear. Nobody see that I want to make sure I'm ready, which means internally I'm afraid I will be exposed if I try, or that I do not want to take too much credit. Actually means that I think luck did this and not me. I don't think that I'm capable. The gap between how it looks and how it feels is where careers get stuck. Not in the performance review, not in the promotion conversation, but much earlier in the things that never get said or done because fear runs in the background. What actually helps? Clance continued studying this phenomena for decades after the original paper, and while there is more research on what the problem is than on how to fix it, there are some clear directions. Thinking about it helps. Clancy's first approach was group work, bringing high achieving people together to name what they were feeling and realize that they were not alone in it. Discovering that 62% of professionals feel some version of this takes some of the power out of it. And because it stops feeling like a personal failing and starts looking like a very human pattern. Keeping track of what you actually do helps. People with imposter feelings tend to remember what went wrong and forget what went right. Writing down your wins, not for a performance for you, but just for yourself, gives you something real to look at when the doubt kicks in. It's not about feeling good, it's about having an accurate information. Coaching helps, of course. A 2025 study on early career engineers found that structured coaching aimed specifically at imposter feelings led to real changes in career behavior. The pattern is not fixed, it changes when people work on it directly. Having the direct conversation helps most. Going to your manager and saying, I want to be promoted, that would take the thing that feels hardest and matters the most. The fear that naming what you want will somehow go badly is almost never based in reality. One more thing. There is a wider picture here that the research is starting to make clear, and I think it's worth naming. The imposter phenomenon is more common among people who already face greater pressure and judgment at work. People from underrepresented groups or those in environments where they feel that they need to prove themselves more than others. Where those feelings take hold, they produce exactly the behaviors that make it harder to advance. Staying quiet, not putting yourself forward, not asking for what you want. So the external pressure that created the feeling ends up being reinforced by the feelings themselves. The person does the work that the bias was doing. And this is why I think it's more than just a personal challenge. What I want you to take with you. If you've been through another promotion cycle wondering what you are doing wrong and you have done the work, gotten the good feedback, watched the other moves ahead, it may be worth looking inwards, not to blame yourself, but because the answer actually might be inside of you. So the imposter syndrome, again, affects 62 working professionals. It targets people who care about doing things well, and it produces behaviors that look fine from the outside while slowly getting in the way of the career promotion that you have already earned. The promotion is not always held back by someone else. Sometimes you're the one leaving it on the table again and again because of a part of you that's convinced that you are not ready. That part is actually wrong, and you probably have a data really clear on that. So if any of it feels familiar, one thing to do today is have the conversation you have been avoiding with your manager, with your mentor, with someone you trust. Say what you actually want even if it feels uncomfortable. I'm happy to receive your comments about this one.